Sorry for podcasting.
This is what I was wondering actually about you before you came in here is I can't remember what your sibling situation is, like what your family unit is like. I remember that you have, I think, one parental figure going on.
I have a mother still.
And then one sibling
I
or
have
two?
5.
Oh,
Well, 4.
5.
I'm oldest of 5.
Oh, 5. Okay,
5.
sorry. I
But-
couldn't remember at all.
So my dad passed away in 2020.
Yeah.
So, and then it actually was one of my early bits because I have myself and my brother. It was like same mother, same father.
Okay.
Then I have a sister, same father, different mother.
Okay.
A brother, same mother, different father. And another brother, same father, different mother, who also has a different mother than my sister.
Right.
And then
Oh
I
my
would say,
gosh.
and holy shit, if Hallmark didn't have a card for it. Was the big joke was at the end. So yeah, so I have like one brother and I have the same set of parents. And then I have,
Very modern.
yes, like I have 2 half brothers and a half sister, but you just call them like the,
Yeah, you don't-
you don't,
You don't say half or
Yeah.
step or
yeah.
whatever.
And I'm 23 years older than my youngest brother.
Oh, wow. That's a significant
A
gap.
big gap, right?
Yeah.
And so we did, like when my dad was alive, he was always there between us. Like my brother played lacrosse, so we always had sort of an intermediary. And then once my dad passed away, we got a lot closer
Mhm.
because once that was gone, and
You go through something like that too.
Well,
It
we also-
bonds you.
yeah, we also didn't think we had much in common. And then when we started hanging out more and our wives started talking, they'd be like, oh, you just like, it turns out we have the exact same like interests, the way we
Yeah.
do things. It turns out we're actually more similar than my brother and I that have the same set of parents. My brother and I have the same set of parents. We laugh about the same stuff and we're kind of goofy and we have a very similar personality. But this guy and I, the youngest one, we
More
have the
common interests.
more common interests in like and all our habits and all the stuff that we were I guess we took in our father's instructions on how to be a gladiator. That's what he called us. He said he was training gladiators.
Yeah. Well,
More
I
seriously.
feel like you kind of are. Like,
A gladiator?
yeah, you've been through a lot. You are so healthy now. You're walking this much. You just
Oh,
like you're in the midst of making a movie.
oh yeah,
That's
I forgot
great.
about the almost
These are-
dying part.
Yeah, you almost died. I was
And
very
thanks to Amber,
Oh my
she actually we were doing a show together when I almost died, and then you
my gosh.
actually started a GoFundMe for me, which I'm always so appreciative.
Yeah,
And
I mean, anyone who knows any artists, if anything happens with them, get that GoFundMe up as soon as possible. As soon as you know they're gonna be in recovery for a while. I don't think we didn't even know at a certain point whether you're gonna.
it didn't look
pull
like I was
through.
going to live. Like when the doctor had said, yeah, we're doing everything we always have to say yes to maintain hope. We're doing everything, but it
Yeah.
didn't look good. And they came and asked if I had my affairs in order. And my wife, Christy, was like, they were saying, you're never getting, like, maybe they can do something for your pain. Cause all my organs were
Failing.
inflamed.
Well,
and
you
stuff.
had sepsis, or no? You
No,
had.
they didn't. Actually, what you find out is you don't know. You find out what you don't have. But it was,
Oh,
the pain was that my pancreas got infected. So they would say pancreatitis. That's when it got so painful. I went to the hospital, and then they were all inflamed, and then it began to crush my lungs. So I was having respiratory failure.
oh
'Cause
yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't breathe. But it's also I don't have a spleen.
Doesn't have a
'cause I
spleen,
ruptured my
and
spleen
also
when I
he
was
wasn't
20.
drinking. He wasn't alcoholic. You
I
just because
was, yeah.
you weren't. You weren't.
I didn't
then,
drink.
right?
I hadn't drank since 2019.
Right. You hadn't drank since 2019.
And then I got this infection. It started in like January with a nasal thing, and that it just never really went away. It felt like when I had
And then you
mono.
You got a nasal thing, and then you.
And then my eardrum ruptured, and then it spread, and I had an allergic reaction to the penicillin, and it just never kind of went away.
Oh my gosh.
And then I hadn't drank in years.
Right.
And the week before I wound up at the hospital with all that, I got on a flight, and I was flying to Nova Scotia, and some guy got on the plane, like a worker from the north, and he sat down, and we start talking. I don't usually say I'm a comic, but for whatever reason, I just told this guy I was going out to do shows. And then he asked if I knew Tim Steeves, who was a comic, sort of older hero of mine who had died of pancreatic cancer. And I was
Oh,
like, yes, I
yeah.
know Tim Steves. And this guy turned out to be Tim Steves' older brother's best friend. So he's like,
Oh.
oh my God. He's like, we got to have a drink for Tim Steves. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
I
work
don't
with Tim. He's
drink.
very sweet.
And he said, oh, well, then I'm going to get you a pussy drink. Give this guy a Coors Light. And I thought, I'll just have a drink for Tim Steves and it won't be a big deal. And then I kind of got off the plane and I was like, oh, the dam was
it was
broken.
a
And all
big.
of a sudden I was drinking at a show in a hotel. And then now I was drinking with an infection. And so that didn't
Oh.
help, right? So the
Okay.
two things were,
And I think I remember also you saying you had a rough flight.
oh yeah, the flight it was, it didn't look good. Yeah, it was the most turbulence I had ever experienced.
You flew across Canada. You had a rough flight. And then
Yeah.
Damon and I were running this show called Too Funny, which our other friend, Daryl Lennox, was on.
Yes.
And we actually had a strange conversation too about you and Christy getting caught up in these rapids with your friends.
Yeah, my
before-
brother
right
and myself
before.
and my wife and my cousin and a couple of family members all almost drowned on a rafting thing.
You were telling me that story either before or after the show we had just had with Daryl Lennox. The day after that, you went into the hospital. The day after that, Daryl, I think, or 2 days after that, Daryl went into the hospital. You were in ICU. Daryl passed away. And then you went back into ICU after Daryl passed away. I'm pretty sure.
I was in the ICU the whole time and came out. Nobody told me that because Daryl was like my
we weren't telling
comedy
you.
like guy that took me under his wing and helped me all along when I began. And so, we were on the show. I didn't know that was going to be our last show together. He died while I was in the hospital.
I know.
Nobody told me till I got home because they didn't want me to know.
We were all debating whether I said, please don't tell him yet. I was talking to Paul and we were all just thinking it's not going to be easy on you if we tell you while you're recovering.
Yeah, that was a pretty big shock and a pretty sad. And you don't like, and then you're like, wow, I lived. He didn't it's just one of those weird.
And it was just a strange scenario too. I'm like, everyone's going to think I'm some kind of weird hex.
Yeah, because you were the only one who didn't almost die on the show.
Death doula host of a show or whatever. But it's just very strange that you guys were even talking about that story
dying
that night about almost dying, and then you went in the hospital basically like 24 or 48 hours later, and then
I think
Daryl
that's
so bizarre.
4 times that I should have been dead. So I ruptured my spleen. That one they didn't think I was going to make it. They were on the MS. They told my mom
that's when you were like super
20?
young.
20. 20. Shredded kids. Fuck. Everybody thought I was dead. And
were
then
you surfing? You were.
Yeah, I had gone surfing
Mm-hmm.
and surfing on acid, which by the way, I had never.
Viewers at home, or
I really liked it. It wasn't at the peak when things are crazy. It was more like when you're in the zone. So I had taken acid, which I had never taken. And I was like, no, I don't do that stuff. And this guy was like, well, you smoke pot, don't you? I'm like, yeah. He's like that for 6 hours. I was like, oh, okay. And then I was surfing.
Do you think it really is?
No, it's not like pot for 6 hours. It's nothing like that. So, so I surfed, and I guess I had mono, so my spleen was all swollen, and the doctor had already told me like, oh, you're very sick. You shouldn't be doing anything. I was like, I'm not going to miss the big surf trip party weekend. So I went up. I remember I got to the surf place, and I got out, and some other friend of mine said, who brought Keith Richards? That's how bad I looked, right? I thought I was doing fine.
Also, you should probably just not surf if you have mono, because you'll just like pass out on the board.
But you're 20, so you think you're fine. So then I surfed, and I guess I was crashing, and it ruptured my spleen. Didn't know. Came in, started to pour rain, so we packed up and drove home. I didn't drive, I was in the car. But if we hadn't, I walked home, I went in, I showered, and I woke up I got woken up on the bathroom floor. I passed out because I had no blood pressure. I was bleeding internally. But if if it hadn't rained, we would have stayed the night, and they just would have found me dead in a tent.
Whoa.
So I was kind of lucky that one. And then there's the almost drowning on the river. Then there's the mass infection from also not having a spleen that I couldn't fight off. And then when I was like, I don't know, 4 or whatever, I stopped breathing. They found me. I was all blue, and they took me into the hospital. And they put me in I was in an oxygen tent for a few days. I couldn't tell you really what happened, but
Yeah.
um, I was on the put you in the burn ward because I had to be in a pure oxygen tent, and all I
Okay.
remember was that there was a window, and there was a kid, and I thought I had a kid friend. I had thought I had a purple friend because he was all burnt, but we
Oh.
could talk through the window. When I was like 4,
Yeah.
so that's my whole memory of the hospital is that there was a
Wow.
purple kid that I could talk
Oh
to.
my
So that was the
gosh.
first one. So there's 4. So I got 5 left. Apparently, right?
Yeah.
I'm a 9 liver, I think.
You're a cat.
I'm a cat.
Yeah.
And then the GoFundMe that you did was awesome, right? So I had this GoFundMe, and then another comic. So Daryl passes away. I'm in the hospital, and another comic
Mm.
gets wheeled in while I'm there. And this is a comic that owes like all the other comics in the city money, and he's not a very good paying people back. And he's a bit of a swindler, and he takes money, and he's a bit of a liar. He does a lot of things that aren't great. One of my good friends in comedy. So he gets, I've known him since I started. So he gets wheeled in, and then he hears that I've gotten this GoFundMe, right? I guess he hears it through the grapevine. So now I'm a bit ahead of him in the recovery. He's got pancreatitis from like the drinking too much
He's
type.
posting on all social media. I'm in the hospital.
Yeah, he's in the hospital. So I attempt to go down to visit him finally. I turn the corner, and he's got no shirt on. He's holding the thing. He's got an unlit cigarette hand in one hand, and he's demanding justice or something. So I don't really go to visit. So finally I come to visit him, and he's in the curtain. I pull back the curtain, and he's sitting on a laptop, and he's making his own GoFundMe. and he's got, and I know because part of the pancreatitis thing they told me is you can't have any fats right away, like no fatty stuff. He's got a malt from Wendy's that's pure cream, and he's got an open pizza that he's ordered somehow. So he's eating all fats. He's making this GoFundMe.
He's acting like he's in a hotel room on a weekend at a club.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just and so he told me, he's like, oh, I made this GoFundMe, and I got this guy to do it for me to start it off. He doesn't know much about computer. The idea is like he'd put $1,000 up, so it's a big thing, and then people donate more money, and the guy couldn't start it, and so now he had to do his own one. And he was getting pissed off because his first bids were only like $25, and he still had to pay this guy back $1,000 for the scheme that didn't work. I don't even know if that guy got paid back. So I just jokingly told him it should be like a go forget me, like a fund, like you forget about my debts. Like it shouldn't be a GoFundMe. It should be like a go forgive me. Like you should just put like people can put in and waive their debt collection from you. And that would have, so yeah.
But his health wasn't close to what yours was.
Well, he wasn't dying or anything, but he just wrote a whole thing like, this is being done without without his knowledge. Like he wrote it as a third person without his knowledge. He's in the hospital. He needs to make rent. He wrote this whole thing, but it was him. I watched him type it out. And he saw the GoFundMe was working, and he was pissed off because he only got like $5,000.
Yeah.
And so then it didn't.
Well, I know now that I knew your state because I was getting updates by Seth Rogen's mom, which is.
Was it Sandy was giving you updates?
Yeah,
Rogen?
Sandy. So I think I've told you this before, but so I was in the middle of a really brutal breakup.
And while I was in the hospital dying?
Yeah, and then Sandy calls me. Like literally, I've just broken up with my 11-year long-term live-in boyfriend. He's still in the apartment.
Yeah.
And Sandy calls me, and I just start scream crying. And he comes out of the bedroom. He's like, "What's wrong now? Like,
what's wrong now?
Like,
this has been going on.
What else is happening? Like, what is going on now?" And it was just so. I actually am grateful he was there then, because that was very terrifying. But I put the GoFundMe together for a number of reasons. One was, first of all, survival for you if you recovered. But I also thought about it as like an energy thing. Like everyone finds out you're in this situation, and like the money is energy, right? For like, and hopefully you're somehow in a hippie universal way receiving this love, right? Like, so, and now that I look back on it, I guess I didn't really find out about Daryl's circumstance. I didn't have a Sandy to inform me exactly what was going on with Daryl. But I do feel like I wish I would have done that, I don't know if it would have made any kind of difference. And I don't know if it did with you either, because everyone was like, oh no, Damon wasn't even conscious then or whatever. But it was sort of like a manifesting thing for me. Like that was my other idea behind it, was like, well, if I get this up fast, everyone knows what's going on as soon as possible. We can get some energy his way, do some like,
It
hopefully.
worked. It
Yeah,
worked. It
I
worked
hope.
great. And you know what? And that was the most touching thing, or what, when I was like, I didn't look or know anything, but like until I was out of it had been 20 days since it started.
Yeah, Christy said
And
you were
I
like
wasn't,
high
yeah,
at
they
first.
gave me so many drugs and I
Yeah.
didn't look at it, but then I went through and like what everybody had written and the people who donated, and it's like, it's something that I'll never be able to like give back or like repay. But I was so like, I wrote to everybody who donated and thanked them. Like
Wow.
it was a huge,
Mhm.
thing that, and some, some of these people I finally took them out, like, like Brent Butt
Mhm.
put in like 2 grand at the beginning. I took him out for lunch and thanked him. Like
Mhm.
I can't repay these people, but I do often contribute to GoFundMes. I was already doing that, but
Well,
I
yeah.
pay it back as much as I
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
And, but yeah, that was a really, like, that's pretty touching when you see like that many people react and help you. Like, you got a lot of
Well,
friends,
yeah, and
but
I'm sure people who contribute to stuff like that, I don't think they need or want anything back. I think when you do
it,
something like that, you just feel good, right? So you
yeah,
feel like, even if you can't be on the
but
doctor there
yeah, well,
on site, like you can contribute in your own way and feel good about trying to take care of someone in your
well,
community.
and I had Paul Meyerhog,
Yeah.
one of my best friends, and I used to do the podcast here at 604, where
Yeah.
it's called
Shout out,
Microdose.
Paul.
You can still
You
find
can
it in the
still
604
stream it.
archives if you ever want to listen to it. That was
Microdose.
just all funny. It wasn't serious dead talk like this. So, but he was there at like bedside, like
Yeah.
all through it, and
Yeah.
he told me about the GoFundMe. He's like, "Look, this is like, that's when I found out what had happened." And he's like,
Yeah.
"We just put it up, and there's already 30 grand in there." I was like, "What?" Like I was like,
Yeah.
"You're just overwhelmed," and so it helped with a lot of stuff. It didn't make me
Mhm.
worry about what I was going to do. It also didn't, I didn't have to ever worry about like getting back out to do shows. Like, cause I tried, like
Yeah.
after about the 5-month mark, I tried to do shows. I had to do back to back. I did the first show. I was right out of gas. I
Mhm.
tried to do the next one and I lose weight. So I was like, I can't, like it
Oh,
took,
you're not ready
I was
yet. Yeah.
probably 7 months. That happened in April. And it was the New Year show that I did with you.
Mm.
After that was like the first show where I felt normal. So that's a long time
Yeah.
later. Oh, and why was Sandy? Sandy was your update? Like, how'd that come about? You didn't really
It
say?
was so funny. I'm not funny, haha, but I was just like, I never thought I'd be talking like this is the reason I'd be in close communication with Seth Rogen's mom.
Yeah, because
But
Sandy
we met
at the
her at the
show, she came to the
show,
show. So she's like,
and so we already knew each other on a level, and for some reason, I think she knew somebody worked at the hospital.
okay.
And so she found out pretty fast that you were in there, and so she let me know, and thank you, Sandy, for doing that. That was so kind and probably uncomfortable for her. I just started crying in her ear, and she, like, doesn't even know me.
Yeah, well,
But,
she's
I was happy about it.
been like really a great person in the stand-up community of Vancouver.
Mhm.
People probably don't know this, but well, because when Seth started out, he started out the same time as a bunch of us, but he was
Mhm.
still not old enough to be in these clubs. So Sandy would
Mhm.
have to come down. He'd do the show. He's allowed to stay. So she'd be there. So she got to know all of us. So she knew Daryl, like with
Mm.
Daryl Lennox, when Daryl Lennox had lost his sight and went blind, she paid and put in all the stuff to bring it up to like, she got the whatever Canadian Blind Institute to
Oh,
redo his whole place, paid
wow.
for all of it so that he could be functional as a blind person in
Uh,
his own home. So they do these sort
wow.
of things, and Sandy shows up to shows when people are there, and like calling you. I didn't know that
I
she was
was
the caller.
already floored that she just came to her show.
Oh well,
I
yeah,
was like, "Whoa, that's
she
so cool."
yeah. So she
She's
knows.
not tired of stand-up and all
No, she
this
loves it.
stuff
Yeah.
by now, and
And then, and plus she was, loved Daryl as well. And she was my yoga instructor. at the time.
Oh yeah.
So she's not instructing yoga right now since the like she's got a hip thing going on. But
Yeah.
yeah, like just a small world. And so I did
Yeah.
not know that she was your go-to updater
Yeah.
until now.
That's so funny.
Yeah, well,
I
like I didn't really like what I
It's such
remember
a
going on.
whirlwind right after, even when you're getting back into it, I was nervous. I was
Oh, when I was
nervous.
doing stand-up.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was just like, I think he's pushing himself too hard. I just want him to
I
be.
try. Although it was
I'm
really
glad you backed off. I'm glad you were wise about
yes,
it.
but it was really fun to talk about everything that happened when I
Yeah.
finally got a chance to do
Yeah,
that
you
for
have
20
really,
minutes of like
really good
writing the bit about
material.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it was
yeah.
really good to do that. And luckily we have that outlet. That's the great part about
I
stand up. You can talk
know.
about almost dying and then make it really funny.
Yeah, that is a really good part of it. It's
And nurses
cathartic.
loved it. I
Yeah,
was doing it
nurses
like
probably loved you in the
but they
hospital.
but they came up to me like when I was doing the show like, "Oh my god, that's so accurate to what's going on in
Mhm,
hospitals."
mhm. No, totally.
Which yeah, I think nurses like me. I mean, I had one nurse that was mean. Who came in. There was one nurse ratchet that was like,
Just
knock your
have
shit off, get up. Like, but my thing to nurse, like when you're in a hospital that long and you see how insane every day is for them, what they have to deal with, like
yeah,
they are probably,
they have so
they're
much,
just
so
amazing
much.
people because
Right.
they have to come in and be, you're in rough shape. So they're very supportive and they're doing all these things. And they probably have been yelled at by a maniac who's having a tough day right
Been
before they
yelled
come in and
at by
talk to you.
a
They don't know,
maniac,
like,
directed by doctors, or I don't
yeah,
actually don't know. There's probably a head nurse, but
there's,
they just have so much to juggle. I as a slow processor slash I feel like I'm a very simple person. Nursing is not for me. Like I would not be able, I thank you to all the nurses out there. Honestly, also any medical issues that I've had in the past, um, when I've had a mean or bad doctor, the nurse is like a godsend. The nurse is usually like kind of
yeah,
rebalancing that
because the doctors are pretty direct.
direct and not emotionally intelligent, or they don't have the capacity. They're so busy that they can't even if they wanted to be and take the time, I don't think they often can. They're probably
Yeah.
burnt out on that level. They probably also are too busy. And so I've had like these wonderful nurses sort of like come back with that humanity and
And yeah,
treat
nurse,
you when you're feeling vulnerable. It's
I used to,
a big deal.
have a relationship with a nurse. Like my
Is that the
girlfriend
vegan?
was a nurse. No, before that, I had a like
The vegan.
before the vegan. Yeah, I had she was just starting nursing school when I met her, but she went all the way through nursing school. So I was always like dropping into VGH, Vancouver
Yeah.
General Hospital, up at the vascular ward. What's going on? I had scrubs. Like I got to wear hospital pants around the house. I thought it was awesome. Like,
Yeah.
those were my pajamas at one point. Were
Scrubs are
hospital scrubs.
comfy.
Oh, they're awesome. If you can ever get your hands on some scrubs, that's why they give them to you in the hospital.
Oh,
the most comfortable thing you can
this
get.
is nice to have someone who's like close to my age and on the opposite side of the spectrum of Steph was like 12 years younger than me. But remember mod robes? They were like basically scrubs. Like, do you remember scrubs being trendy?
No,
Especially the pant. Well, just mainly the pants.
Like for outdoor wearing or
Yeah,
like
like just in the 90s, maybe the late 90s, early
oh, that's
2000s.
before my nursing day. Well, early 2000s is when I had my
Yeah.
scrubs.
There was this brand called Mod Robes. They basically mimicked a scrub, but they had like a little. Anyway,
All right, maybe it was an
I thought
Eastern
you would
thing.
know.
Nope, didn't know
Yeah,
it.
maybe it was the East. Well, I wasn't East
Coast.
Coast, but yeah, Ontario thing.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
well, thank you for helping save my life. Just so you know, I should thank you publicly here. Lifesaver,
He always
life drainer.
No, it's
like,
too much. I said it's all good. I'm happy to do it, and you're always so sweet and thanking me. But
I guess I supported the right person out of the gate in comedy. Imagine if I had just discarded you.
Oh my god! I try to get the person who's setting up the GoFundMe to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you might have been
it.
helping the guy down the hall from me with his scammy GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Yeah, could have been taken for a scam.
Could have been that universe.
Yeah.
No, I think that you have, but I think on the same with when we're talking about energy, I think you already gave me I think I was just reciprocating the energy you had already given me, like in a support way. Like I wasn't dying but it's hard to move to a new scene and establish yourself. And you really support me through that. And like, yeah, just I said probably in any career, as soon as you move, there's like two different reactions you can get from people if you're any good at what you're doing is people are drawn to you for different reasons. People are drawn to you or people don't want to let you in.
Yeah.
They're doing a bit of gatekeeping, they're doing a bit of insular type politics and stuff like that. They don't want you to be in competition with them if they've already established themselves. They don't want you anywhere near.
And that goes with any career, not just stand up, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. I
so
haven't only ever had one other career. I worked at Sport Mart. I haven't had a lot of jobs. I never had a lot of jobs because
yeah, because Damon came up in the era where I think I guess it wasn't the boom. It was after the boom,
no,
the
that
80s
that was
boom.
actually I was sort of in a dead era
You
where
were in a dead
comedy
era,
was.
but you were so
But
good so fast that you got to be professional quite quickly compared to me, I think.
people started offering me money right away to come and open for them, and there was a lot of horrible shows that you could go and do, but you could get paid. And so I was like, oh, I'm a like I was making enough that I could work a couple of days at my job for like in just the first couple of years and
Mm.
do stand up. And so, but it was also like in this kind of dark, like I don't know, it was sort of
It was back when there was physical violence amongst stand-ups, right?
yes, there was all that sort of stuff. There was, stand-ups being punched, but there was also like when I was down in LA and I had to do showcases at like the Comedy Store that you talk about. Like the Comedy Store was this great place from the Jim Carrey 80s days. You hear about David Letterman, all this stuff. I don't know if you ever watched the Comedy Store special, the documentary they had on it. And now it's this, like it's full of life again from about like, I don't know, just before 2010, like when everyone started podcasting and there was this sort of like rebirth of stand-up everywhere because of the internet, because of like all this stuff. But I was there in like 2002 when it was dark. Like
Yeah.
they didn't open the main room. I would go like I had like, I was up in a side room where Joe Rogan was headlining and there was like 23 people in the place and he was getting heckled. Right? Like he told a story. He was telling a story about flying in an F-14 at pulling like so many G's. And some guy was like, bullshit. And he was like, what? Just some guy in the crowd. He's like, bullshit. He's like, I've had enough of you and your bullshit lying fucking. And then Joe Rogan snapped and started calling him a whole bunch of names. Fuck you, you whatever. And they had to drag this guy out.
What venue is this?
What's that?
This was in
This
LA?
is in the Comedy Store, but not in the main
Comedy
thing. So
Store.
they had to drag this guy out, and then Joe Rogan just went on talking about his F-14 trip again, and it was horrible. So you'd go into these places, and it felt like bad, like someone had died, like nobody wanted to be there, and the only reason we were there is like you'd have to like I was with like this 3 arts agency at the time, so they're like, hey, we're going to set up a showcase. You have to go and do your show there. We've got some people coming from Buena Vista, which was like a division of Disney, would come to see you.
This is when scouts, like people, like network people would be in the audience.
Yeah.
This is like, that's how Roseanne got her show.
Yeah. So
network people.
Yeah. So in LA, so they'd be like, they're coming down to see you. They want to see if you fit for this show and stuff. So you'd have these people at the agency, like the management group, they're like, hey, can you make sure you like wear a good shirt? Like they asked you how to dress. They told you like, can you do that bit? Like I used to have this bit about being a volunteer fireman. And it was, I show up to a fire high. Can you change that to being drunk? They're against drug use. So you'd have to rewrite. So they were telling you what to do for these showcases. And
they were like censoring you, like you would get censored for like a late night.
Yeah, they're trying to get you to do a set so that it'll fit the TV show that they want to maybe cast you in or put you in. But it was also like they're like when you said scouts in the crowd or whatever, like when I started even, we would be doing shows in Vancouver and then there'd be like HBO's coming. And so some people from HBO would come and then they'd have a showcase and all of us would have to do like your best fives. And then you'd be at some place and like, oh, like NBC came one time out in Laugh Lines in New West. We all did, say there was, I don't know, maybe 16, 20 comics all did their sets. And then they had us come downstairs, some of us, like about half of us, gave us scripts, had us do a cold read for these roles,
Yeah.
and then they left.
Which,
And so
like
you
you were
would,
saying earlier, everyone probably shit the bed on.
a couple of people did. Some were okay, but it
I'm
was,
really bad at cold
but
read.
you would do a show. You'd be in Seattle. You'd do a show, and the show would end, and you would think it was just a show, and then someone would come up, and it's like, it's Grace Yu. She's head of like comedy development at NBC, and give
Oh
you
my
a
gosh.
card, and that's how they found you
So
then.
cool.
So it was really cool. But you were like, so you also did all these high pressure sets
Yeah.
early, so that when you did like your Just for Laughs and that, like it wasn't
A big
like
deal. That
like
wasn't a big deal then.
well, getting
After
to do
you've been
Just for
through
Laughs, yeah,
those.
but you don't like you had done so many high pressure things. So like going to do
Yeah.
Seattle, which is a competition, and everybody's freaking out in their high pressure sets. Like we had been doing that from like month 6
Yeah.
of stand up. There's people seeing you when you shouldn't even be seen, right? And
Yeah.
so yeah, so you got to do all these things, and then some of them would go well, and then you fly down to LA and you meet all these people and you do some shows, and then I wound up, going there for a bit, and I didn't realize that it was that hard to even get like management like that. Like Louis C.K.'s manager
Mhm.
was this Dave Becky, and I would bump into him like there's a group of managers at Three Arts, so he wasn't my main guy, but they all made decisions together, and he'd always be bumming cigarettes off me in the parking lot, and
And
he'd
his man.
say, like, "Hey, don't tell my wife that I'm smoking." I'm like, I could tell her a lot worse, was always our joke, right? Like, this is
Yeah.
the least you're. So, like, and that guy, he's like Louis C.K.'s manager. He went on to make like Parks and Rec and It's Always
Wow.
Sunny in Philadelphia. Like, he's the executive
Yeah.
producer of all the shows, and he was just one of the
Hanging
talent
out.
managers at the place. He was sort of the biggest, he knew he was, but I didn't know that, like, at the same time, Amy Poehler and these people were all on his roster. I didn't know how
Right.
close I was to all this stuff going on.
Well, isn't that nice? Like, also that you didn't
Yeah,
tense up like
yeah.
how, like, that's, I
It,
feel like
it
how it kind of is now.
yeah, it was so normal. It went so fast that I just thought that was normal, and then I ran out of money because
Mm.
it's hard to keep up with everyone there. And then I came home and shot like a national TV special and got some more. I thought I'll go home, regroup, make some money doing stand up, and then I'll come
That was
back.
Comedy Now, or?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
coming out. And
Comedy
then
Now.
what you find out is out of sight, out of mind. Somebody just like you shows up. There's just another person. So when you leave, another person comes in. Basically, they've got a new person like you already.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so you go back, and then like, oh, my guy that was there at Three Arts had moved to Paradigm. And so you're all of a sudden they're like, oh, no, we forgot about you. And
Oh,
they
yeah.
were really hyped on you. And then you're just gone. You're just gone. And you got to, but I didn't know you'd just be gone. I thought like, oh, I'll just go back. They like me. And they're like, no, we replaced you.
Well, like, yeah, everything felt so natural and available at a certain point too, and so, like, that's the trick of it all too. Like,
Yeah.
a thing I, like, kinda solidified in my mind about 5 years ago, which I think I was still pretty slow on the uptake, is, like, a lot of people are gonna make promises. Like,
Yes.
let's just know that those aren't actually promises, and if you call something in that somebody said they're gonna do, that's not
It's not.
necessarily gonna be, they might not even be capable of doing that anymore, or, like, things change just
People
so
can get
much.
people can get fired, and then all your stuff is thrown in the trash with them.
Or people
Um,
can just get.
or not be good. There's this guy
Yeah.
that he's an awesome guy, and he's like, he was sitting me down. He was telling me, he was like, look, I'm telling you, I'm going to get this movie made. He was telling, he's like,
Oh, yeah.
I punched up some
Here
stuff.
we
He's like,
go.
so he was telling me he's dead serious. And I really like the guy. And I just said, look, I believe you're saying that. I said, but I've been here a lot of times. And so
Right.
when you have the money and it's green lit, then I know it's a go. And this is
Mhm.
nothing personal, but you can
Mhm.
swear on your mother's grave, all your stuff, whatever you want to do. But this is like the 48th time I've had somebody.
Yeah, I got a lead role in a horror film, and
Did
guess
you?
guess what? It never even
Oh,
made it
didn't even make
to.
the horror film.
Yeah, and I
You'd be good at that.
also.
You could do your screams. You just have Sandy Rogen call you, and then you start screaming.
Yeah, and then I also did a TV taping that never aired. So, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I totally, yeah.
Yeah, all
It's
sorts
just
of stuff, but they're all
showbiz,
fun.
baby.
They're all fun. I like all of those things when they happen.
Right,
Right? They're
exactly.
like, oh, but most of them don't pan out.
Exactly, yeah.
And
You just
even
gotta
when
know
things And I hear like it never ends. Like
just
you
gotta
think,
know it's temporary or really not a sure thing until it's like actually
until
a sure
it's
thing.
done.
Yeah.
That's my big lesson for the weekly
You guys
listeners.
hear that?
It's not done till it's done.
A way that you can be strong is to not count your chips at the table.
All right, Johnny Cash.
Count your eggs
I
before
think it's Kenny Loggins.
before
No, Kenny Rogers.
you can't count your
What's ChatGPT say it is?
before you have a full house. But yeah. So do you have a thing coming up? You just opened for Brent Butt.
Yeah, I was just on tour with Brent Butt. And so do I have a thing coming up? Like a shows
I mean,
or anything?
it's got to probably be pretty far out because we batch these.
We batch these. Okay. No.
Oh, no? Okay.
No. Like I said, I'm just trying to get it. And you know what? In summer, I usually will write a script and try and get in good physical shape because I don't want to be running around doing stand-up in other cities when it's so beautiful here. Like,
and it's Canada. We should take as much of the summer as we can while we have it. Yeah.
You got all winter to do stuff. So I'm just trying to get the film finished and we're close.
Yeah,
So I'm just working on the movie, and hopefully by the time you see this, like in September or something, it'll be done and we'll have a premiere.
And I'll post it. I'll post about it. It's called The Opener.
Yeah.
He wrote it. He directed it. He was in it, and he put a ton of comedians in it, which was very generous and amazing. And I think everyone had a lot of fun doing that. So
I think so too. And
we think.
And a lot of people helped, right? So many people helped with all of it, but I did everybody in it.
Oh, and Seth's brother's in it.
Seth Rogen's brother's in it. Ira.
Yeah.
Ira Aderman.
And Ira's very sweet and very talented.
Very talented. And then my buddy Dave Nystrom, who I started out doing stand-up with, he was the other lead. And every person in there, the deal was, I wound up kind of making this my own rule, but everybody who acted in it had to have done stand-up at one point. Like they were, almost everybody was stand-ups, but there was a couple of people that were actually fairly decent actors, and they got so Ellie Harvey, who was she was head of the union here, of the BC Actors Union, but she used to do stand-up when we started. And then she played Morticia on The Addams Family.
Oh, yeah,
and so I knew her. I used to be, so she came in it, right? But she had done stand-up. So, so I got all those sort of people. And it's so funny because near one of the last days we were shooting, Callum Keith Rennie showed up. Do you know who that is? Have you ever seen Hardcore Logo?
Oh yeah, I think I did, but I don't remember.
He's the guitar player from that, and he's in he's in a million movies. And so he was on set, and we had no part for him, no stand-up. Sorry, Callum, you're out.
What do you mean?
He came down to set. He was there because we know him.
Oh, so just to hang.
He stops by. Yeah, he stops by with Dave Hempstead. He knew Dave Hempstead was in it. That was a friend of his. So he was down there, and we have he's probably the best actor out of anybody who's been anywhere near this movie, and we didn't put him in it.
Well, when it's not nominated for the Oscars, you'll know you've messed up.
Yes, that was it. The Callum Keith Rennie mistake. Great guy. I told him I'd put him in the next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be in that one too,
Vampire
please.
Cab Driver coming out.
Alex would like a role as well.
Oh, sure. He could be our computer guy when things are going wrong.
Researcher.
Yeah. You know, like in an emergency when you're like almost there. You can be our coder.
Yeah. You can be the nerdy guy.
Yeah. And you should put a camera on him sometime so people can see what's going on.
People don't want to see that.
I don't think he likes that. Okay. Yeah. But
it's a voice in your head. That's all it is.
I'm sure he's noticed, but I put his face on our page.
Okay.
And I'm sure he doesn't like
no, I don't mind.
Yeah.
But it would be kind of weird if there was just an extra camera pointed at me here. I feel like, I don't know, maybe one day. We'll see.
Maybe you're the new co-host.
Yeah, you need a co-host.
Over Kelsey Hamilton. So do you want to try to do the bicycle one more time, or do you want to?
That's a failed. That's failed. I'll race you in the parking lot, and I'll play a one-on-one in basketball. And you can bring a camera and film it.
Okay, we'll be in that league, the shorter league.
We'll do 6'4" and under.
We'll do some dunks. Okay.
Vancouver Nighthawks.
Exactly.
That was the name of the team.
Vancouver Nighthawks is being revived. And thanks, Damon, for doing the pod.
Thank you, weekly listeners. With week.
I hope we have some regular listeners by now.
And your play on week with WEAK.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I like to do my brother. I have a brother that's a bit of a drinker.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always say that he's got a weekend immunity system because he drinks on the weekend. That's the pun joke.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
So the opposite way of doing
Sick,
it. Yeah.
sick,
He's got a
sick.
weekend immunity system.
Okay, well,
There we go.
yeah, that's
Weekend
the
listeners.
weekly.
Thank you.
Damonde Tschritter. Thank you.
Sorry for being weekly.